So it's 7 o'clock on a Thursday, and that means this is it. And here we have Inessa and Mitchell. How you doing, Inessa?
Hi, I'm doing very well. What about you, Mitchell?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to tonight as always. So yeah, all good.
And how are you, Dov?
Yeah, look, I'm doing all right, actually. It's lockdown, but I've got to tell you the truth. I don't feel like it's lockdown. It's kind of, well, I'll do it a little bit of a way, but it's not as dramatic as the first one in the springtime, I think. Anyway, let's do This Is It. So just before we start, Avril's in and saying hi there. So big shout out to Avril.
Hello.
Hi, Avril.
So good evening, everyone who listening us, who watching us. And as today, Thursday evening, 7 o'clock, and we have This Is It. So today we're going to talk about distraction. We're going to talk about different type of the distraction, what is the beneficial, what is not beneficial for us. So as we know, distraction is something that takes our attention away from what we are supposed to be doing. So Dov, is a question for you. What kind of distraction you use and why?
Oh, that is a good question for me. Hold on, I've got a little bit of an echo. Is there a reason why? Okay, it's a good question to me because, yeah, I do use distractions, although I'm really working hard over the years not to. I've learned that avoidance and distraction of, well, I'm talking about things that go on inside us, right? So depends if we're talking about stuff that's inside or outside. Inside, I try not to be avoidant too much these days and try to be more mindful of it. Although, yeah, of course, distraction does come about. But things that are going on outside, I do a lot of distraction. Like, for instance, I'd rather read than be concerned too much with all the news. Sometimes I get really absorbed by it, depending on what it is. So I do other things. I distract myself from pain sometimes, like physical pain. I try to not think about it. Again, I try not to get pulled into that pit, but it happens. Yeah, my favorite distraction is probably, I don't know. My favorite distraction is probably watching TV. When it comes down to it.
So what kind of like movies or programs you watch, or what exactly you are watching when you distract yourself?
Okay. So I watch, hold on a second, let me just get that back to you. I tend to watch news. Now that's a funny thing because I try to get distracted from things, but when I get involved, I can watch news, depending if it holds my attention. If it's boring, not. I can watch news 24 hours a day. I can absolutely be glued to it. I used to be able to watch movies, but unless it's really new and good, I don't have I just cannot focus anymore on movies. I don't watch boxes or or movies or box sets or any of that stuff. Unless it's something really thrilling and new, I tend to watch the news. I can flick through all the stations. It doesn't have to be one channel. Going through them all.
That's great. Yeah. What about you, Mitchell? What's your favorite distraction and why you use this distraction? And as I know, you love to watch movie. You're big fan of movies, and you know many actors, many scenes. And so, is a movie your favorite distraction, or is something else? And why you distract yourself?
Definitely film. Definitely film. Films for me from childhood. I just love film. Even like today, I can watch the same film. It doesn't bother me at all. I like watching old films, 30s films, 40s films, 50s films, 60s films. Doesn't matter. I just love films. I love the old films. I do a lot. And what else do I do to distract myself? My phone can be a huge distraction. In fact, I'm aware, which is something I've really got to stop doing, is I can be watching a film and looking at my phone and doing two things, which is, not really the ideal thing to do. If I've got something I need to do regards to writing assignments, sometimes, no, not sometimes, quite a lot of the time, I will avoid, distract myself. Something else will come up. I would rather do that than sit down and focus on things. I think it's just avoidance, literally just avoidance. Regards to, yeah, even sometimes exercise can be a way of me avoiding. If I'm not in a, if I've got I'm not in a good place, or I'm upset about something, or angry about something, or something's happened, someone's been rude, I can use exercise, do the boxing on the pads. I can just distract myself completely. But then I guess there's a flip side to that, because sometimes I think distraction's healthy as well.
So is a helps like is a helps you what you're doing?
Yeah, and it helps me if I'm doing something I enjoy. If something's an unhealthy distraction, then. But generally, when it comes to, for me anyway, this is only from my perspective. When it comes to physical exercise, I find that a really enjoyable distraction. It benefits me in a lot of ways. If I don't do it, I seem to ache more. My body aches more, and if I'm really carrying some tension, and sometimes if I'm not processing a feeling or an emotion, and it can come out like somatized physically. If I can literally, I'll work on it. I'll distract through exercise, and that sometimes allows whatever's there to be pushed out, because I'm tired, so I can't hide it anymore. My body can't sort of keep me safe with it. It'll just say, "Uh-oh, he's tired. Now it's time for whatever's there to come up," and it will come up and it will work. But films can do it for me too. I can watch something and it can trigger certain things inside of me which I didn't realize was there in that moment. But then I'll watch something and there'll be an association, and it's a distraction, but sometimes it's a useful distraction. So I think it has flip sides, healthy and unhealthy, just depending where someone's at in the moment.
I sometimes do what you do, Mitchell, when I'm doing something, I'm on my phone as well, doing more than one thing at the one time. Sometimes you catch yourself doing that. I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I actually doing? Not just that, I might, in some cases, surf Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn with when you used to go on the TV and go through the channels. So I do that with my icons. I do this, and this, and then go back to email. And I've sometimes done it more than once, one round. How much can it change?
I just want to add to that. My TV's got a 4-screen, so it splits into 4 screens. And I have done at times stuck 4 things. If it's sports, especially sports, I can stick. And also, the good thing is, though, my partner always points out when I'm on the phone and watching a film. It'll always be, why are you doing the 2 things at once? Why don't you just concentrate on one? And I'll be like, oh yeah, okay.
So Avril is saying that she does Facebook, Good Morning Britain, and her thoughts sometimes distract her. What about you, Inessa?
Yes.
Actually, I distract myself sometimes if I'm very nervous and I can't concentrate, and I try to meditate, I try to focus, and if I can't deal with this, I can't sort out my problem or something, I feel like I'm stuck, and sometimes I need to accept some situation and I can't. So what I do, I'm like all the time I put movie on, or some broadcast or something interesting I put on, and I can literally walk with my phone doing my stuff, exercise, I don't know, taking shower, take all the time my headphone on, and I just keep distracting myself. So I was analyzing why I do this, why I just can't sit and calm down myself, because in my opinion, some distraction is really good. Like, for example, if the people distract themselves looking after pets, or looking, I don't know, if people have family, they look after children, family, and in a different way, or some people study something. But sometimes some distraction, I think, is really avoidancy. Is just kind of like my view. Maybe I'm wrong. And instead for me to sit and sort out my problem and think how I can deal with this or that emotion, or what I can change in my life, I try to avoid. So I like watching TV, and especially sometimes I watch a movie not because I like the movie, because I try to escape reality. So if I'm going inside movie, I just escape all the problems, and I feel I'm kind of that part of the movie I'm in, where is everything nice and happy. I try to watch nice movie, even sometimes melodramas, which is beautiful, like love stories. And yeah, I mean, it's not maybe my type of movie, but I'm just sometimes watching just to make me feel good that
Right,
I'm
burning to ask both of you. Burning. Because both of you have mentioned that you watch movies for distraction, right? And what keeps going in my head is, are you not distracted as actors? You're actors. So when you watch a movie, you know what's going on from the inside, not just as a observer, just as somebody watching a movie. You know it. It's almost like you watching your colleagues work, right? So you know all the tricks, Is that not distracting for both of you, watching a movie, knowing more than anybody else how not real it is?
I'm going to jump in. I never think about it. When I watch a movie, I'll just watch the movie, the acting side of it, and unless every now and again I watch something and go, oh, God, I wish I'd have got that part. That's a gritty part, that's a real deep, some, or I'll look at an actor and think, oh, that was really, yeah, I believe that, the truth. Because for me, I think sometimes when, especially with film or films and theatre, it can shift. It can shift how you are. So every time you watch.
Oh, we just lost. But one thing, just a second while we're waiting, I'm coming back. Julie's back and she says, "Hi all. I can spend hours distracting myself on my iPad, jumping between TED Talks. The TED Talks are good. I like getting distracted with TED Talks too. Trini Woodall, fashion YouTubes. I haven't tried that. Listening to music, films. Yeah, the list is endless. Yeah, I know. Isn't it, Julie? Especially today, you can have, we have at our fingertips millions of types of distractions. Avril says it's important to completely switch off, and that might involve daydreaming. Yeah, daydreaming. That's also another favorite of mine when I'm walking. I do a lot of daydreaming when I'm walking. So, Inessa, what about you when you're watching movies? Do you kind of feel like, oh, I can do that part better than her. I don't know what she's playing at. I can do it much better. Or do you get into the movie?
When I watch movie, for me it's more I never said like I can do better. It's for sure, because I always think I'm probably not good enough, or maybe have less experience. I can't say, like but when I watch movie, it depends what kind of movie. For example, if I watch action movie, every different movie I watch for different reason. So when I watch action movie, I really imagine myself one day I'm gonna do that action movie, because it's rush my adrenaline, and I love this kind of stuff. I like fighting, not for real, like for stage and all this stuff.
Now, come
when
on, be honest. You like fighting for real. Come on, you like having a good fight to distract yourself. Don't lie.
and then like for example, if I watch some singing or whatever, or different type of movies like melodrama, it's just because I guess sometimes because obviously my family, they're far away from me, so sometimes I try to watch these kind of movies, make me feel familiar, because I don't have family here, so it makes me feel warm. So I don't imagine myself, distract myself that I'm on that movie. So yeah, it's just kind of, I guess, is different type of movie make me feel different. Yeah.
What kind of being distracted from? What is it? You, both of you, me too. And what is it that all these things that we're using? But what are we trying to avoid?
I think sometimes avoidance of the, like for me, for example, sometimes avoidance with the feelings which I can't deal with. And on my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. Like for example, if I distract myself, for example, I have busy day and I'm tired. Like for example, I will study all day and my brain is tired, so I won't distract myself just to watch some nice movie or listen to music, or sometimes I love running. So this is kind of nice distraction, I think. But sometimes what I'm working on myself to avoid the feelings or to avoid the problems, to sort out something. So sometimes when I feel I can't do it, so instead to put more effort, find out actually that way, because I believe you always can find out the way to make choice or something change in your life by searching to change that feelings for better feelings. But when I can't find this, I got bored, I got frustrated. So what I start to do, I maybe sometimes as well, I can swipe Facebook, or sometimes I like to do cleaning and changing something, moving, cleaning, throw it away. This is my favorite things, because when I want to distract myself, I try to throw it away, everything useful, unuseful, just changing something in the life. In one point is helping some point, like as Mitchell mentioned, it makes your feelings just come out. But in some point, the problem wasn't sorted out. So you actually have to come back to that problem and sort out without avoidancy.
So Marcella, is it distraction or a form of relaxation and shutting down? What do you say to that, Mitchell?
I think, again, as I said earlier, I think that distraction sometimes is a way of, it can be a way of just relaxing as well. It doesn't have to, it's not always about an avoidance of something. It is a lot of the time, and it can be. But as well, if you're doing something you enjoy, it's still a distraction. You're still, it could be just in other words, I guess, even, let's say a Saturday, for instance, for me, a Saturday, I love my football. I love watching sports. I love football. So maybe I've got to go and do something. And if the game's on, I'll go, no, I'll do the game. Then I'm happy to go and do what I need to do. But in that moment, I'm distracted from, there could be a number of things. Could have had a really busy, stressful day, week at work. There could be some assignments I've got to do the following week. Lines I've got to learn, something else I've got to do. But just for a split, for an hour and a half, 2 hours, there's a distraction of just watching a game, enjoying the game, releasing some emotions in a safe place, because I'm watching football and I might be shouting at the screen. No one's really saying, I'm not really upsetting anyone, apart from my neighbours will say to me later on, oh, Mitchell, were you watching the football? I go, yeah, how'd you know? Oh, we heard you. So, but I think sometimes it is a way of relaxing. I think sometimes it can be a way of relaxing. It doesn't have to be negative all the time.
I have some opinion, like I think it's like people maybe have to distract themselves in a nice way, obviously not sitting and switching the channels or running around house, throwing everything away or kind of this stuff. But I think it's just as long as the person, this kind of distraction, even they're not productive for their life, like for example, if the person gonna watch TV all day, then nothing gonna change in their life, right? Because in life you have to have different experience, and it has to be someday productive as well in some point. But I think if this distraction doesn't take over your life, you not become addicted to distraction. Like, for example, if the person watch one movie which is last, for example, 2.5 hours a day, it's absolutely fine. But when the person, for example, finish the work, like some people, and they come in, or like some people going to the pub every night, like I heard this kind of story, and they distract themselves socializing, drinking beer every night. Or some people sometimes come home and like from 6 o'clock to midnight, they're just watching TV. So it's just kind of half life they spend in distracting themselves from something without be productive. Even some people sometimes make excuses, say, okay, because I have stress, or I have hard job, or I have this, or I have that. But instead to sort out that problem, change, for example, job, or make easy life, or try to at least find out the choices, how to do different or make easy a bit. Even sometimes people doesn't have ability to do it, but at least something different to do every day. They jump into this kind of addictive distraction as well, which is sometimes I think is not really healthy. And or sometimes, as we say, I do this as well, sometimes just swiping phones. So now I just sign out of my Facebook for 2 days, then I sign in, because I try to like deal with myself. And let's find out like half day could be taken to just do this stuff which is not productive, it's not helpful for me, because I'm not getting anything from there for me. I'm not like study there, or I'm not doing my business on the Facebook. So yeah, so it's kind of, I guess, as long as it's not getting over your life for the worst reason.
So small, what I'm hearing from you, Inessa, is small doses of distraction is all right. But if it starts to take over your life and you're getting distracted from things that, might be better for you to do, then maybe start to get worried about it a little. I use distraction for procrastinating, right? So, but I've learned a little technique. Mitchell, your internet's not stable, by the way. I don't think you keep jumping around.
Yeah, I keep turning the camera on and off, but it's not working. So
yeah, but hang on anyway, because this is it. I mean, the whole point of this is to deal with.
It's a distraction.
It's a distraction himself.
All of you people should be doing instead of it. This is part of what this is. It's to represent that life is whatever it is, right? And if you're putting on a show and the camera doesn't work, or Mitchell disappears mid-sentence, or me like last week, had all sorts of things. I also disappeared and came back. The idea is that you keep on going, and just like in life, you can't. This is it. This is what we've got, and we try to do the best we can with what we've got. But back to procrastinating is, this is what I do. It's a little technique that I found works, and that I use distractions on distractions. Right. So let's say I feel that I want to procrastinate, which happens all the time, by the way. Right, constantly procrastinating, and I've had it all my life. But what I now do is, because procrastinating is when you need to get something done, really, right? It's not just about, not doing something. It's about when you need to get it done and you don't do it for whatever reasons. There's lots of reasons why people procrastinate. But what I tend to do is I procrastinate with, as a distraction, something else that I need to do.
Okay.
Right? And then when, I get a little bit, kind of fidgety about that, I go on to something else. But the something else is also something important. So I distract myself with important things from the things that I don't want to do. And eventually I end up getting everything done. But I do it I don't know if this is necessary. I've not done any research on this, so I don't know if this is necessarily a healthy way to do it, but it works.
Yeah, I can say this. Yeah, I will interrupt you. Sorry, I read this. It's multitask. It's really helpful for some people. Depends how your brain works. So some people very good with multitask. Some people not really good. So some people can start doing many things and they never will finish because they just can't deal with this. But for you, for example, if you have that kind of energy, your brain set up you can picking up easily different tasks and you can finish. This really literally amazing and beneficial. So it's just depending individually of the people.
Yeah, the magic word you said there was as if, and if they finish. So that's a bit of a, yeah, I've got stuff still from 1975, I think, that's waiting for me to finish. But yeah, you're right. Again, it's all in proportion, isn't it? Avril agrees that she's a big, huge, not just a big, huge procrastinator. Yeah, I think we all are in some sort of way, aren't we? We're all procrastinating. Just if it gets to become, as Inessa said, I think if it begins to take over your life and you're not doing anything, then there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, also I think like when the people distract themselves, like maybe I have to say to myself as well. So for example, as we mentioned before, like what we start to do because we have lots on our social media, films and all this stuff. So in my opinion, if it's good distraction, so what's the good distraction? If you enjoy something different, switch off your mind or brain from the like problems, daily life, relax, or just not switch off from bed. Maybe it's everything beautiful in the life, just to change something in the life. So if it's this kind of distraction, you have to enjoy it. So if, for example, if you start to watch that nice film, which you choose, so you have to continue to watch the film without checking your phone, without swiping Facebook, without, like how funny Mitchell said, putting 4 films in the screen and try to switch between channels, because brain is not going to enjoy it. They're going to try to picking up this information all over. So this is kind of, I guess, you make more stress on your brain. So yeah, so I'm thinking it's best things, maybe I'm wrong, to enjoy, to choose something where you really fully enjoy in 100%. What kind of movie, cleaning, running, whatever you like to do it, but just focus on that on one enjoyable. Because actually when we try to do many things as distraction, using as distraction, is kind of, this relaxing. We more make stress to our brain. We just kind of, as people saying, killing time to just kill time on something, but it doesn't make us relax. It doesn't make us enjoy, because we can't concentrate on that. We can't enjoy that pleasure of movie, football, or other stuff. Like,
I absolutely agree. By the way, that's watching this wants to tell us what they are trying to distract themselves from. That might be interesting.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Inessa. From the point of, if you're going to do something, doesn't matter if it's for distraction or not. If you're going to do something, be mindful and into what you're doing and try to enjoy it, or at least be part of it and be present in it as you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's almost like drifting into in a mindful way.
Yeah, Ingrid is coming in and saying, I understand what you are saying. I never looked at it that way. I've definitely had distraction that was destructive. Yeah. So getting back to what Mitchell was saying, some distractions are destructive, but some distractions can be, suppose in a way it can be useful, can't it? It can be hopefully pleasurable as well and can be useful. I mean, let's face it, the movie industry wouldn't be a multi-billion-dollar industry if it wasn't pleasant for some people to watch. But I think getting back to what Inessa says, you just got to keep your hand on the pulse or the finger on the pulse, whatever it is, on making sure that you're not distracting from your whole life, because then that could be a problem.
Yeah, it's true. And also, if the people can deal with something, like, for example, as I mentioned before about the problem, job or whatever, which is they extremely want to distract themselves, not just distract because, as I mentioned, there was tired day or routine, or literally would just make them feel uncomfortable and they try to distract. So maybe it's a better solution. Don't distract yourself. Come back to your problem. Come back to your unpleasant feeling, which is make this kind of repetition all the time. I don't say one time, just like some feelings make kind of repetition or routine, and some people can manage that routine. So please don't distract yourself. Just come back, sit, think about the problem. If you can't find out by yourself, go to like a professional. They will help you to find out that problem. So then you not gonna avoid all the time that feeling. You will sort out, and you're not gonna have that anymore feelings. Maybe your life will change, and you're just gonna be much happier as you are, and you're gonna just distract watching TV by enjoying TV, not because you try to avoid something.
Yeah, I love that, Mitchell. The idea of you can do this, not distracting yourself or distracting yourself can be the same actions. Like you can watch TV for a useful purpose, or you can go to walks for useful purposes, or you can go to the gym for a useful purpose, which is what Inessa said. Instead of using it as a distraction from your life, it doesn't mean you have to give it up. It just means that you can, the way that you're relating to that action is a little bit different, and you're relating to it to enhance your life rather than to run away from your life. I love that, Inessa. I really like it.
I think as well with the social media and the online platforms, the other difficulty is there's a distraction consistently because they're obviously watching what you're watching, so you get all these ads, so it's a constant distraction. You know, if you're watching the TV, adverts, distraction, it will jump in there because obviously they're trying to sell things. And as you said, the movie industry wouldn't be as big as it is if it wasn't, you know, people weren't going, you know, be it that if it's a distraction or if it's a healthy distraction. But then if you look at things like alcohol, I mean, you know, how much that's a huge, huge industry.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people come home from work, distraction. I've had a hard day at work, I'll have a drink, or, oh, I'm having my dinner, I'll have a drink, or, you know, people get into those and it's still a distraction.
Yeah, well, it could be used as a distraction, but the same action could be used as an enhancer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Again, it's like anything. I think, again, it's about, as we were saying other times, it's about balance, isn't it, really? Everything's about a balance. And that's quite difficult for all of us at any point in time to have all the time. It's very difficult to have that consistency with balance. It's a constant, you're having to constantly be aware and present just to sort of make sure that's happening.
And if you enjoy it.
Yeah. So if we were to sum up tonight what we're taking away from our talk on This Is It regarding distraction, is it a good thing? Is it not a good thing? What's our takeaways?
So what I want to say is the kind of, as well, they have not just two sides, they have different sides of them, which is the positive and negative distraction. But yeah, I will repeat again, don't too much distract yourself from something bad, better sort out the problem. If you have distraction just to want to enjoy something from your job or change something in the life, so please watch films with pleasure, please travel and find different distraction. Not just stuck to watching TV, not just exercise, not just play football, not just, I don't know, cooking or cleaning all the time. Just find every different pleasure to just feel it, to experience it. And yeah, I think more people have experienced, more they will enjoy the life. And yeah, and don't avoid your problem, just sort out problems and then just move to nice distraction.
Wow. Mitchell?
I was going to say, if you want to distract yourself, learn a language. There's a big distraction. It's also good to learn a new language. It's also quite challenging, so it'll be very distracting, but it'll also give you an extra skill. So there's different things we can all do. I think, again, it's all about balance. And if you feel, or someone has mentioned, or as well, people might mention to you, oh, you're doing that a bit too much. You know, it depends where you're at in that moment, whether you listen or you don't listen. But again, life's always about choices. Choices have consequences, so make the good choices.
Okay, so I'll sum up my thing. I think what I've learned, especially from Mitchell and Inessa tonight, is basically we're all distracting ourselves at one point or another. Some with movies, some with going to the gym, some with walking, some with alcohol, some with whatever, right? So it seems to be some sort of part of life, which is fine. But taking what Inessa said is be careful that it's not overtaking your life, and don't necessarily need to give up these distractions, but use them more as life enhancers and be more mindful of them and be more part of them, while at the same time not ignoring the problems in your life and things that need to be taken care of, whether that's paying bills or cleaning your apartment or whatever you need to do. Got to do it in the end. None of us like doing some of these things. And if it's internal stuff, then we have to learn. At the end of the day, this is the work, I think. It's my work for a long time now. My personal work I'm talking about, my personal development work, is to sit with my horrible feelings and thoughts and things that go through me and begin to get to know them a bit better and get a bit friendly with them so that they don't push me to distraction as much as they would like to. But we become partners in getting through this life in the most joyful way possible. Okay, so that's it. This is it for Thursday this week.
That's it for This Is It.
That's it for This Is It. It's been wonderful. I love it.
Thank you very much to everyone who watching us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, and for really taking part and writing in comments and things. Share it. Oh yeah, I've got to mention this. Going to share, like, tag, watch party it. Let's get the word out. Let's get more people on. More people are coming on every week, which is fantastic. We've got lots and lots of surprises in the future, but only once we start to get up to big numbers. So spread it around. We've got a nice thank you from Ingrid there. So thank you to you, Ingrid, and to everybody else. Good night, everybody. Have a great week.
Good night.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Stay safe.
And also leave your comments as well, please.
Yes, leave your
comments.
comments.
Very interesting to hear your opinion as well, who watching us.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, just before we go, let's give her a chant. Marcella says thank you to all. So that's wonderful. All right, take care, people.
Thank you, Marcella.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.